everyone. We'll get started in just a minute. All right. My name is Kevin Collins. I am the Digital Services Librarian for the Genesee District Library. And today we're going to be going over one of our databases, the Learning Express Library. It is used for if you need help getting your GED, if you need help for a college prep exam, such as the ACT or the SAT, and you can use it for career skills and career-based tests, such as civil servant exams or nursing exams. Before we get started, though, I want to mention all of our programs, physical and digital, are available in our program guide, the 19. This can be found on our website and inside all of the branches. I also want to mention that September is National Library Card Sign-Up Month. If you don't have a card with us already and you come into a branch and sign up for a card, you get a free tote bag or a password book, and you will be entered to win an Apple iPad. So with that, let's get started. So from our website, you'll want to hover over the Learn button and click Library Databases. And these are all the databases you have access through your library card. And we are going to scroll down to the Learning Express library. All right. From here, what we will want to do is sign in or create an account. You will want to do this because creating an account allows you to save all of your test scores, all of your lesson progress. If you create a resume or a cover letter through the Learning Express library, those will all be saved and you will have access to those. And it's pretty easy to register. You just type in your first name, email address, and create a password. And that is all that is required. You can also sign, if you already have a Google account, you can sign in with your Google account, which is what I'll be doing for this program. Once you sign in, the Learning Express to Library will take you to the My Center part of the website. And this is where you can view everything that you're working on across the different types of lessons and articles and ebooks and so on. Any resumes or cover letters you have saved will show up here. Any scholarship searches, anything you've worked on in the Learning Express library, if you save it, will show up here. You can also use this to review tests and tutorials you've completed and kind of compare your progress over time. So let's get started. Since we're logged in, we're going to hit the home button, and we're going to start with the High School Equivalency Center. Now, one of the real neat things about this is we can click Learn how the resources here can help you prepare. And it'll show you which tests are required in every state in the US. So for here in Michigan, you can take either the GED or the HISET test. Either one is All right, and they have tutorials on the website for passing these tests. So let's take a look at the GED test. They have this great tutorial about learning about the GED test. If you're someone that suffers from test anxiety or you just like knowing what you're getting into, this tutorial will tell you, all right, the test is made up of 4 sections: language arts, mathematics, social studies, and a science portion. The test will be taken on a computer, and you'll need basic mouse and keyboard skills. And I also give you the timing for each test. So you have about 2.5 hours for the language arts, just under 2 hours for math, an hour and a half for science, an hour and 10 minutes for social studies. Test will be majority multiple choice, and they also list the other types of questions that you'll come across during the test. For the GED, it also tells you the price, when you can take it, where to take it, and how the tester scored, what you'll need in order to pass the test. We head back. We can look at the different methods that the Learning Express library uses to kind of teach you and help build your skills in these academic areas. So, first is the practice test, and these will be broken up into different subject matters and different difficulties depending on the test prep you're looking at. When you go in, it'll tell you the length of the test, how long the test time is, and it'll have 3 options for test modes. In simulation is just like taking a real test. You'll get no feedback as you take the test. And once you hit the 115-minute mark, the test will stop regardless of where you are in the test. The practice test is quite similar. You won't see any answers or feedback until you're finished. The timer will show, but if you go over the time, it won't kick you out. It'll allow you to keep taking the test. This lets you get a pretty good idea of where you're at speed wise in taking this test. And finally, the learner mode. As you answer each question, you can check it and see the answer to that question as you go. So, for example, this question: Joseph owns V video games. Harry owns 10 fewer than 2 times the number of video games Joseph owns. Which expression represents the number of video games that Harry owns in terms of V? We are going to hit 2V minus 10. And you'll see the option comes up to check answer. If we click that, it'll tell us we are correct. Give a short explanation. If we had chosen one of the incorrect answers, it'll tell you you're incorrect and give you a brief explanation as to why. Notice while you're taking the test in learner mode, you can have the option to finish later, and it'll save all the questions you have answered to that point. You also have a notepad option where you can take your own notes as you're taking the test, and you can refer back to those to hit subject areas that you feel you need to review further. Next, we're going to look at flashcards. Usually contain 100 flashcards per set. And once it loads up, you'll see it ask the question. You simply click it to get the answer. There's no scoring involved, although you can classify. I found this question easy, or I found this question difficult. And as you go through the flashcards, you can come back later and say, I just want to review the ones I listed as difficult. So that way, once you've mastered a subject, mastered a area within math, for example, you don't have to constantly review what you've already learned. You can focus on what you're having difficulty with. There are some other options. You can shuffle the cards, useful so you don't just memorize the order of answers. And then there's the option to show the answer first, Jeopardy style. I don't see too much use in that one, at least for math questions, but it's an option that's there. And you can also look at both sides at once. We're going to save progress and exit. And look at a couple more study types. Study interactables are sort of like a practice test, although they aren't timed at all. And most of them are drag and drop or fill in the blank. So you put down the answers in each set. And then you can check the answer and it'll tell you if you are incorrect or correct and give you the correct answer. They have drag and drop questions like this. They also have fill in the blank where you have to manually type in the answers. And then on the last one for the interactable kind of study tools, we have games. And these are interesting. These are focused on certain subject areas. So the human brain, there's also one on plant cells, one on animal cells, and a few other on other topics. You can choose to be timed or untimed as you play these games. And they'll ask you to identify, in this one, regions of the brain. If you answer correctly, you'll see that lightning bolt in the upper right increases. If you get it wrong, you see it decreases. So your goal is to answer the questions and continue through the test, keeping your lightning bolt above 0. All right, now, so those are all the, what I call interactable kind of lessons where you are actively answering questions as you study. We have a few more guides. We have the tutorials, and these are full-length lessons for the entirety of that test subject. So as you can see, this one contains about 7 lessons across different subjects. And you'll see it gives you information, kind of summarizes it at the end for you. You can bookmark topics to come back later. You can click the notebook and take your own notes as we as in the other kind of study tools. And finally, at the end of each main lesson, there's a review. I'll give you a few questions to answer, a short test. We also have micro lessons, which is taking those tutorials and breaking them down into very specific topics. So if there's a certain subject area you need assistance with, you can just go to that micro lesson. So chemistry, not my strongest subject in school. So I can click that and I get a focus of different lessons focused on chemistry. Uh, We have videos, and these are about 3 to 15 minute videos that cover a single topic within the subject. Oh. You can change the speed. Most of the features you'd see in a typical YouTube video, you can find in these lessons. And finally, we have ebooks. These are full-length digital books provided through the Learning Express library. And you can see, you can read the entire text of the book. You could download and read it offline if you chose. You can print any or all parts of the book. And we also, once again, have the notepad to take notes as you read. And there are a fair number of books for each topic within the high school equivalency center. Now let's look at some of the other tests they have available. If we're moving on to the college admissions, there are information for the ACT test. We have preparation tutorials for each section of the test, practice tests for each section, a digital practice test, and a whole guide on how the ACT is scored. See, the SAT, a little less subject material, but you can all still take a practice test and learn some strategies for the reading, writing, and math tests. If you're taking AP classes and just need a little more help with study tools, many of the AP classes have practice exams, ebooks, or fact sheets available through the Learning Express library. We also have the PSAT, the TOEFL for those who English is their second language, a reading, listening, speaking, and writing guides. And we also have a guide to how do you write a college admissions essay when you're applying to colleges? What are they looking to see out of your essay? And how can you best write that essay? All right, now we're going to look at another powerful section of the Learning Express library, which is the Job and Career Accelerator. We have guides on how to build a resume, how to write a great cover letter, and tools that will help you create and build a resume. You have the option of taking your current resume and uploading it and editing it within the Learning Express library. And once again, any resumes you create or have saved in the Learning Express library, you will have access to later. It will not delete your resumes. There are tools to find a career match for those about to graduate or fresh out of school, not really sure what career path is the best fit for you. We have one based on your interests, and we have another one based on your skills. And you'll take these quizzes, and it'll give you a list of careers it thinks is a good match for you. Now, this Explore Occupations is pretty useful. You can kind of look at see what kind of jobs are out there, and there are a few specific guides. If you're looking for an apprenticeship for skilled trades, you can explore the opportunities there. For those who served in the military, there's a few guides about transitioning to either college or simply transitioning into a civilian occupation. You can search for jobs. We have links to Monster, the federal jobs database, and the Canadian internship and job search. If you don't mind the colder weather up there. And then an extremely underrated tool is the Prepare for an Interview. For most of my early life, I was not great at job interviews. It's something I really struggled with. And a guide like this, it's a full tutorial telling you what you'll expect in the interview process, how you can best prepare, what you should wear, what you should bring, what mistakes should you not make, and a whole list of sample interview questions to kind of help build your confidence and give you an idea of what to expect when you go in for that interview. There are also guides for how do you write a good follow-up letter after your interview, or a nice professional thank you letter after your interview. And there's a couple more guides. How do you um, resign from your current position? What's the best way to do that professionally? And how do you negotiate your salary or other benefits? Um, a lot of tools you don't really get taught, and we have great guides here to help you out. There is a whole ebook library on different careers and what it takes to enter into those fields. And then there's a guide to link to the scholarship finder through FastWeb and a school finder to find the school that will offer the program that you're looking for to enter the field that you're interested in. And then it's not all about academics or career skills on here. There's a whole section on computer skills, which are useful to, I'd say, everyone at no matter their age or where they're at in their career path. Always nice to refresh on this. We have the basics of getting to know your computer. How do you use Windows? You got a new printer. How do you set it up and use it efficiently? Internet basics, websites, search engines, email addresses, social media tools, and internet safety, a bigger and bigger issue as time goes on. There's a whole section on improving your keyboarding typing skills, an exercise to practice your typing one step at a time. Goes at a pretty reasonable pace, usually starting you with about 2, 3 letters and building it on there until you can do a whole row or the whole keyboard. And you'll see it tells you which finger to use, how to hold which letters highlighted, and it'll let you know how often you've messed up in your typing. More recently, they have added information about artificial intelligence and relatively new technology that has entered most fields of our life, our cell phones, our social media, even at some fast food drive-ins. AI is not going away, and this is a nice way to get yourself familiar about what it is and what it can do, and also what it has trouble doing. We have guides for Microsoft Office, Excel, Word, PowerPoint, Office 360. And this also goes back a few versions. So even if you don't have the newest computer, you have an older version of Microsoft PowerPoint, Microsoft Excel. Those guides are still active. There's no, if you're happy with your version of Microsoft Word, you don't need to update. We have a whole guide here for you. And finally, there's some guides on the Windows operating systems, 8, 10, and 11. Most computers now run on either Windows 10 or Windows 11. There's only a few computers currently being used that run Windows 8. So, before we wrap up, a couple other features I want to touch on. There are several Spanish language resources. Um, so, if you are a native Spanish speaker, or if you're trying to learn Spanish as a second language, I would recommend checking this out. Spanish is not my strong suit, so I'll avoid slaughtering the language by trying to speak it myself. um, there are also core skills. If you're looking to become a U.S. citizen, there's guides on the civics test, flashcards, the test tutorial, ebooks on what it takes to get a green card, and many of these are also available in Spanish. And then going back to career and test prep, for a number of different fields, we have guides on how to prepare for exams, how to prepare for your CDL exam, how to prepare for cosmetology certification, law enforcement practice exams. For nurses, I know the NCLEX test is a major test. These study guides in the branches check out quite frequently. Through the Learning Express library, you can access practice tests, practice questions, ebooks, flashcards, very substantial amount of tools. So those are most of the highlights of the Learning Express library. And let me refresh how to get back there. Touched on it at the beginning, but it doesn't hurt to touch on it again. From our website, which is the GeneseeDistrictLibrary.org, you're going to hover over Learn and click Library Databases. And from here, you can scroll down to the Learning Express library, and you will select it right here. There's also a tutorial through Niche Academy on using the Learning Express library in case you'd like more a hands-on guide on how to use the Learning Express library database. Additionally, when you're at the top, you can hit this career and test prep button, and that'll limit it just to career and test prep resources, many of which come through the Learning Express library. So if you have any questions, please put them in the chat and I will do my best to answer them. And while those are coming through, I'll just remind everyone, this is National Library Card Sign-Up Month. If you don't have a library card with us, you can sign up and get a free tote bag or a free password book. And you get entered into a drawing for an iPad. So tell your friends, tell your family, anyone in the area that doesn't have a library card, please recommend they sign up. And then for our virtual programs, in a couple of weeks, on the 19th of September, we are having the Narrow Affirming Parenting Tips and Tools program. And that will also be available here on our Facebook page and also on our YouTube channel. Thank you for coming to the program. I hope this has been a great help. If you ever need assistance using the Learning Express library or any of our other databases, please reach out, let us know. Any of the library staff will be able to help you with those. Thank you, everyone, and have a great night.